Welcome to my another session. In this session, I am talking about the novel coronavirus or coronavirus. Coronavirus, this is the large group of virus which causes common cold to severe acute respiratory syndrome. So what is coronavirus? The systematic position of coronavirus which indicates overall idea about the coronavirus. The coronavirus which belongs to the realm Ribaviria. Ribaviria, all the members of Ribaviria virus are RNA virus. So the coronavirus, this is the RNA virus. It means the genetic material of coronavirus. This is the RNA. And this coronavirus which belongs to family Coronaviridae. Coronaviridae. All the members of Coronaviridae family are enveloped and it has positive sense single-stranded RNA. So the coronavirus, it is the RNA virus having the sense positive single-stranded RNA and it is enveloped virus. This coronavirus belongs to order nidovirales. Nidovirales, all the members of nidovirales are zootonic. Zootonic means this coronavirus, it can infect animal as well as human. So it can infect both animal as well as human. That's why this virus, also known as the zootonic, that's why it belongs to the order nidovirales. There are 6 subgroups of coronavirus. The alpha coronavirus, the beta coronavirus, gamma coronavirus, delta coronavirus, Buffini virus, and torovirus. Out of these, the alpha coronavirus and the beta coronavirus may infect the human. Out of these 6 subgroups of coronavirus, only alpha and beta can infect the human and causes common cold. So about 10 to 35% of common cold in human caused by the infection of the human coronavirus. So these are the common human coronavirus. So these are the 4 types of common human coronavirus. These are 229E alpha coronavirus, NL63 alpha coronavirus, OC43 beta coronavirus, HKU1 beta coronavirus. The coronavirus 22E alpha coronavirus and the OC43 beta coronavirus was discovered in the year 1960. Sometimes these common human coronavirus it mutate naturally and infect the human and causes pandemic situation. And after the mutation, this common human coronavirus named as the new human coronavirus or novel human coronavirus. So here there is the 3 recent examples of novel human coronavirus or new human coronavirus. So the new human coronavirus, these are the mutant form of the common human coronavirus and these are severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus, Middle East respiratory syndrome coronavirus, novel coronavirus 2019, the outbreaking or the spreading of such novel coronavirus 2019 is going on. As I told earlier that the novel coronavirus 2019, this is very much similar with the SARS coronavirus and the MERS coronavirus. The SARS coronavirus and the MERS coronavirus, these are the mutant form of the coronavirus. The novel coronavirus 2019, this is also the mutant form of the coronavirus. It is believed that the coronavirus which is present in bat, so bat is the primary host of the coronavirus. So from bat, the coronavirus transmit the civet, and from civet to human. So the first mutant form of coronavirus reported in the year 2002. So 2002, the coronavirus, the mutant form of coronavirus comes from the bat. So the mutant form of coronavirus from bat to transmit to civet, from civet to human, and which causes the severe acute respiratory syndrome. That's why the virus is named as SARS coronavirus, or severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus. And the first case is reported in China in the year 2002, and at that time the rate of fatality was 10%. So out of 8,000 infected person, only 800 death case was reported, and the rate of fatality was 10%, which is very decent. After a couple of years, the another mutant form of coronavirus, the outbreaking of another mutant form of coronavirus was reported, and which was taking place in the Saudi Arabia in the year 2012, and that's why the virus is known as the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome coronavirus, or MERS coronavirus. So Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, this disease which is caused by the again another mutant form of the coronavirus. So here again the mutant form of coronavirus which transmit from the bat to camel, and from camel to human, and in human which causes MERS disease, the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome. And at that time the rate of fatality was 35%. It is very much more. So out of 2,500 infected person, 850 number of death cases was reported. So the rate of fatality was 35%. Again, in the year 2019, another mutant form of coronavirus was reported. So, and the spreading of the outbreaking of such coronavirus is going on. Earlier, it is believed that this is the outbreaking of again the second outbreaking of the SARS coronavirus, which was reported in the 2002. But after the genetic analysis, it is believed that the present outbreaking of coronavirus, it is not similar with the SARS coronavirus. That's why, so the SARS coronavirus 2, the name, it is again renamed as the novel coronavirus 2019, because it is discovered, the outbreaking is reported in the year 2019. That's why it is named as the novel coronavirus 2019. Novel means new. This is the new form of the SARS coronavirus, or the coronavirus. That's why it is known as the novel coronavirus 2019. Now it is not named as the SARS coronavirus 2. Now it is renamed as novel coronavirus 2019, and the disease which is caused by the novel coronavirus 2019 is known as the COVID 2019, the coronavirus disease 2019. Here it is believed that the novel coronavirus, this is the mutant form of the coronavirus. Again, the same thing is happened here. The mutant form of coronavirus which infect the pangolin and comes from the bat, and here pangolin which act as the intermediate host. The cell of the pangolin which has the high healing power. That's why throughout the world the trafficking of pangolin is taking place. So from bat to pangolin, and from pangolin to human, and which causes the COVID, the infection of novel coronavirus 2019 which causes the COVID 2019. So here the rate of fatality, which is the 3.7% according to WHO and CDC. So here the rate of fatality is very much lower than the MERS and the SARS, but everyone is scared about the novel coronavirus 2019. Here again it is also important thing, the rate of fatality, which is very much differ from country to country and from different age groups of the infected person. So now come to the case fatality rates. The rate of death or the case fatality rate, and this is the up-to-date data till date, and it may vary in future. So it is observed that the age group from 1 year to 9 years age group, the fatality rate which is 0, and the fatality rate the more than 80-year person, which is 14.8%. So this novel coronavirus 2019, which is very much fatal to the person, those are above 80, and it also fatal to more than 60. The death rate in the age group 10 to 19, this is 0.18%. The death rate 20 to 49, which is 0.32%, and the death rate 50 to 59, which is 1.3%. And the death rate it increase accordingly with the increasing of the age group. So above 60, the death rate may be 3.6 or 8% in the 70 to 79, and more than 80, the case of death rate is 14.8. So the 0% death rate is reported in the age group 1 to 9, and more than 80, it is the 14.8%. So the vulnerable group of such novel coronavirus, the person, the older person, those are more than 60 years old. And again, there is another condition also reported. If some have the health problem like cardiovascular disease, diabetes, chronic respiratory diseases, hypertension or the blood pressure, cancer. So those are suffering from CVD, the cardiovascular disease, the death rate is 10.5%. Diabetic person, the death rate is 7.3%. The chronic respiratory disease, the death rate is 6.3%. Those are suffering from high blood pressure or hypertension, the death rate is 6%. And those are infected or suffering from cancer, they have the death rate is 5.6%. And the people, they have no any health problem, no commodities, the death rate is 0.9%. So here the fatality rate is very much less, but everyone scared about the novel coronavirus because of the spreadability or the transmission from person to person. What is the spreadability of novel coronavirus? How contagious the novel coronavirus? The contagious behavior of novel coronavirus or any type of infectious agent like virus, which is represented or described by the epidemiologic matrix, that is R naught or RO. RO means R naught. The RO value which describes how contagious the infectious agent. In case of novel coronavirus, 19, the R value is 3. According to CDC and WHO, the R naught value of novel coronavirus or COVID which is 3. It means the infected person, it may infect other 3 person. It may infect other 3 person. Now these 3 person infected by novel coronavirus 19. So these are the COVID-19 patient. So these are the COVID-19 patient. So these 3 person again infect other 3 unaffected person. So in this way, the novel coronavirus or COVID-19 spread. So the spreadability behavior of novel coronavirus, which is very much high as compared to influenza. Suppose that if you compare the novel coronavirus with the influenza A virus. So influenza A, which is caused by H1N1 virus in the year 2009 in USA. Here the R0 value is 1. R0 value is 1. It means that the infected person which affect another person and this person again infect another one and this again another one. It means that the spreadability of influenza A, it is stable, but here the spreadability or the contagious behavior of novel coronavirus, it is exponential. So exponentially it increased, it transmitted in the population. If you draw the graph, then you find, suppose that this is the R value. According to Dr. Adam Kurowski, the mathematician of London School of Hygienic and Tropical Medicine, the R0 value which is applicable, only applicable in vulnerable population. So what are the vulnerable population? It means no one has been vaccinated. So novel coronavirus, this is the new virus, no one has been vaccinated. There is no vaccine. The preparation of vaccine is undergoing process. And second important thing, no one has had the disease before. So it is the new thing. That's why there is no question has had the disease before. And the third one is there is no way to control the spread of the disease. So in this condition, the R0 value is used or applicable. So the novel coronavirus, if you draw, then the graph which goes upward. Here the R0 value is more than 1, means here 3. So it exponentially grow. If the R0 value is more than 1, it means the spreadability capacity or the transmission capacity of the contagious disease is more. If the R0 value is 1, if R0 value is equal to 1, it means the disease which is spread in the population, the disease present alive in the population, the disease is stable. If the R0 value is less than 1, then the graph goes downward. It means the transmission of the contagious disease goes down or decreasing. So how it possible in case of novel coronavirus? It is possible in novel coronavirus if you isolate the COVID-19 patient from the crowd, from the population. So forcefully you isolate you should keep in quarantine. That's why this disease be controlled by the human activity. Otherwise, it spread potentially. The contagious behavior, it is more or not is equal to 3. Here another thing is that from the infection to potential transmission, the time period which is known as serial interval. The serial interval here in case of novel coronavirus 7.5 days. So one infected person after 7.5 days it can infect 3 persons. So the serial interval which is 7.5 days, but in case of influenza the serial interval which is 2.5 days. The incubation period of novel coronavirus which is 14 days. So after infection, after 14 days of infection, the symptoms of COVID-19 appear after 14 days. These 14 days is known as the incubation period of novel coronavirus. So after infection of 7.5 days, it potentially start to infect other person. So now come to the structure of novel coronavirus and the pathogenicity of novel coronavirus. Now come to the structure of novel coronavirus. This is the structure of novel coronavirus. As you see, there are so many proteins are there, and the virus, the size of the virus about 100 to 160 nanometer. And this virus, this is the largest virus among the RNA virus. So this is the largest virus among the RNA virus. The genetic material is single stranded sense RNA. So this is the lipid bilayer. The virus is enveloped. Enveloped means the virus is covered by lipid bilayer. So lipid bilayer, this layer, it derived from the host membrane. So it is by lipid bilayer. That's why by the application of detergent, it easily this layer may break or collapse. So this is the virus. From the lipid bilayers, number of club-shaped or spike-shaped structure projects out. So these are the petal-shaped or the club-shaped structure projects out, and which provide the petal-shaped peplomers. So this is the petal-shaped peplomers. This is spike. This spike, which also known as the S spike, and it is made up of glycoprotein. That's why it also known as the S protein. So this is the S protein. This is one type of protein which is the S protein, and this is the most antigenic. So this spike protein or the S protein which act as the antigenic, and this protein which is the dimeric. This glycoprotein, this is the dimeric. And there are the black shaped structure protein is there here, and these proteins are known as the membrane protein or the M protein or the triple membrane spinning protein. The M protein is also the glycoprotein. This glycoprotein anchored into the lipid bilayers. Another small protein also present. So this is the M protein, the second, the M protein. The another protein which is very small and anchored in the lipid bilayer and which act as the ion channel. These proteins are the pentameric in nature, and this is known as the small enveloped glycoprotein, or which is known as the E protein. So this is the E protein. this E protein, it is also a glycoprotein, and which form the iron channel in the membrane of the virus. Inside the virus, there is the single-stranded sense RNA, and such single-stranded sense RNA, there are so many bead-like structure, beaded-like structure are there. So these bead, this is the single bead, this is the bead, this is the nucleocapsid, or it also known as the RNA binding protein. So this bead-like binding protein known as the nucleocapsid. So this nucleocapsid or the RNA binding protein, it is the phosphoprotein. Protein and the phosphate are there. That's why it is known as the phosphoprotein or the N protein. This is another protein. So there are so many proteins are there, and this is the single-stranded RNA. The RNA, the base pair about 27 to 34 kilobases. So the length about 27 to 34 kilobases. So this is the whole about of the structure of the novel coronavirus. There are so many proteins. S proteins are the spike protein, which is the most antigenic. Another is the N protein or the nucleocapsid protein, such protein associated with the single-stranded RNA. Another protein is the E protein, which is known as the enveloped protein, such enveloped protein which forms the iron channel. And the another protein is the M protein. This M protein which anchored into the lipid bilayer, and this protein is the glycoprotein. So there are several types of proteins are there in the novel coronavirus. Whether the novel coronavirus, this is the bioweapon or not, it is man-made or it is natural made. So have a look here. The coronavirus, this is isolated from Mongolian pangolin and sequenced. This sequence is less similar with SARS coronavirus 2 or the novel coronavirus. It indicates that the pangolin is not responsible for COVID-19 epidemic. So the coronavirus, those isolated from pangolin, not similar with novel coronavirus. That's why the novel coronavirus not come from the pangolin. But the coronavirus isolated from the pangolin, there is spike protein. The spike protein of coronavirus, which is 99% correspond to the angiotensin converting enzyme 2 receptor of pneumocyte type 2 cell of lungs. So the S protein of coronavirus isolated from pangolin, which corresponds to the 74 amino acid involved in angiotensin converting enzyme 2 receptor of pneumocyte type 2 cell of lungs. It indicates that this coronavirus is capable to enter the human cell. So it capable to enter the human cell. Another virus, this is the RATB13. This virus which is isolated from the bat and sequenced, but the sequence or this virus, it is highly divergent, and the sequence only 77% is similar. It means that this virus not enter into human, but it is highly divergent, but it can't enter into the human body or the human cell. So it is believed that these two type of virus, the coronavirus from pangolin or the gene of coronavirus from pangolin and the gene of RATB13 from bat, which naturally combine to each other and which forms novel coronavirus. So the novel coronavirus, this is the chimera form of these two group of genes or two groups of virus. But the recombination of these two group of gene, it must takes place within the single host cell. So simultaneously these two virus enter into the same host cell, and in this cell the recombination of these two group of virus must took place, and this is the idea behind the novel coronavirus till date. Now come to the pathophysiology of novel coronavirus. The novel coronavirus, there are several chances to affect the novel coronavirus. If the contact, if make the contact of fecal matter of infected person with the unaffected person, then there is the chance of the infection of novel coronavirus. If unaffected person use the toilet of affected person, then there is the chance of contamination of novel coronavirus, because the fecal matter of patient of novel coronavirus contains million and millions number of virus. Another chance, if the unaffected person come in contact with the respiratory droplet of affected person, then the unaffected person get contaminated by the novel coronavirus. The respiratory, at the time of sneezing, at the time of coughing, the patient spread the respiratory droplet in air, and such respiratory droplet which contains million and millions number of viruses. Such viruses, if come in contact with any surface, if unaffected person touch the surface and then touch the mucous layer like eye, nose and mouth, then such novel coronavirus enter into the body and the unaffected person now contaminated by novel coronavirus. If the novel coronavirus, it first enter into our body and come to the respiratory tract, and it left the alveoli, that's why it reached to the alveoli immediately, and it attacked the second pneumocyte type 2 cell. So in alveoli there is two type of cell. One is the type 1 pneumocyte and the type 2 pneumocyte. The type 1 pneumocyte which help for the gaseous exchange, and type 2 pneumocyte which help for the secretion of surfactant molecules which reduce the surface tension of the alveoli. So the pneumocyte type 2 cell of alveoli, it is the target cell of the novel coronavirus. So novel coronavirus which attack the type 2 pneumocyte cell of lungs or alveoli. So how it enter into our body, or what is the life cycle of the novel coronavirus? So novel coronavirus, the antigenic molecule, this is the S protein or the spike protein. This spike protein which attached with our receptor, the angiotensin converting enzyme 2. So this S protein or the spike which bind with the ACE2, then it enveloped into our cell. When it enter into our pneumocyte type 2 cell, this is the pneumocyte type 2 cell, it contains the positive single stranded RNA. So this positive single stranded RNA, when enter into our cell, it take over the enzyme system and the ribosome for the purpose. So So this mRNA, by the association with ribosome, it start to translation. It produces the proteins, and such proteins are known as the polyproteins. These are the polyproteins. So the novel coronavirus, the spike protein which attached with the receptor of pneumocyte type 2 cell, and the receptor is known as the angiotensin converting enzyme 2. When the spike protein attached with ACE2 receptor, then it engulfs the virus. Immediately the virus enter our cell, and which release the single-stranded RNA. Now such single-stranded RNA act as the mRNA and start to synthesize the viral protein is known as the polyprotein. So this is the polyprotein. This polyprotein, by the action of different proteins like protease, which forms the different proteins of the virus. These are the viral protein. Viral protein. On the other way, this mRNA, it also produce the other mRNA. So the mRNA which replicate the mRNA by the help of RNA dependent RNA polymerase. So the mRNA, one side, it start to translate the protein, and another way, this mRNA which produce or replicate the mRNA by the help of RNA dependent RNA polymerase. After the formation of viral protein, the assembly of viral protein and the mRNA taking place. So this is the assembly of virus. So assembly of virus, after the assembly of virus, the virus boarded off from the pneumocyte cell, the type 2 pneumocyte cell. So the replication of novel coronavirus inside the type 2 pneumocyte cell, which releases the inflammatory mediators. So inflammatory mediators releases because of the infection of the novel coronavirus. So these inflammatory mediators which attract the macrophages or activate the macrophages. This macrophage which release the interleukin 1, interleukin 2, interferon alpha. This interleukin 1, 2 and interferon alpha which enter into the capillaries. Now these interleukin 1, 2 and interferon alpha which act as the vasodilator and increase the permeability of capillaries. Because of the increasing of permeability, the blood from the capillary comes out and accumulate in the interstitial spaces of lungs. So outside of the alveoli, the deposition of blood and plasma taking place, which is known as the alveolar edema. Due to deposition of blood and the plasma outside of the alveoli, which squeeze the alveoli, so which causes the collapsing of alveoli, or which collapse the alveoli because of the alveolar edema, and which causes the increase of working of breath. So which increase the working of breath. Working of breath increase means it do hard to inhale the air, to to open off the alveoli, and which causes the difficulty in breathing, and this condition is known as the dyspnea. So this is the very important symptoms of COVID-19, dyspnea, the difficulty in breathing. Because of the increasing of permeability of capillaries, the blood comes out, then the partial pressure of oxygen in capillary goes down. When the partial pressure of oxygen goes down, which causes the low oxygen in blood, and this condition is known as the hypoxemia. So the level of oxygen in blood goes down because of the collapse of the alveoli. When the hypoxia condition arises, the chemoreceptor which activate the sympathetic nervous system. The hypoxia condition which activate the chemoreceptor, and the chemoreceptor activate the sympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system to meet the demand of oxygen, which start to increase the heart rate and increase the respiration rate. So the hypoxia condition which leads to increase the heart rate and which leads to the increase the respiration rate. This is the another symptoms of the COVID. These inflammatory chemicals, interleukin 1, 2 and interferon alpha, which circulate in blood and come to the brain. Now these inflammatory chemicals come to the brain and activate the hypothalamus. So this is the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus which control the body temperature of our body. When the hypothalamus stimulated by such chemicals, the hypothalamus which increase the body temperature and which leads to fever. This is the another symptoms of COVID-19. So the neutrophil, when the inflammatory reaction going on inside the alveoli, then the thousands and thousands of neutrophils enter into or come to the alveoli, and such neutrophil release the reactive oxygen species and the protease. Somehow it helps for the damaging of the virus, and it also damages our pneumocyte cell, the type 1 cell as well as type 2 cell. So it leads again the collapsing of alveoli. So because of the secretion of protease and reactive oxygen species which attack the pneumocyte type 1 and type 2 cell and which damage our pneumocyte cell, that's why the alveoli will collapse. Because of the collapsing of alveoli, now here so many mediators are present, so many cell derbies are present inside the alveoli, and such condition is known as the consolidation. This is known as the consolidation. So accumulation of cell derbies, accumulation of mediators which causes the consolidation and which also causes cough. So this is the another symptoms of COVID-19. The circulation of all these chemicals which react the systematic inflammatory response syndrome. The systematic inflammatory response syndrome. So because of the systematic inflammatory response syndrome, which increase the capillary, the permeability of capillary. So the blood from capillaries come out and the lowering of blood pressure taking place. So which causes the decrease of blood pressure and which leads to the decrease of blood volume. So decrease of blood pressure and decreasing of blood volume, which causes the multi-system organ failure, which causes the multi-system organ failure and which leads to fatal for the patient. So this is the pathophysiology of novel coronavirus. So at the end of this video, I have some important question and answer published by the CDC and the WHO. Here I would like to read out some of the question and the answer. How does novel coronavirus 19 spread and what are the symptoms? COVID-19 is primarily spread through respiratory droplets, which means to become infected. People generally must be within 6 feet of someone who is contagious and come into contact with these droplets. It may be possible that a person can get COVID-19 by touching a surface of or object that has the virus on it and then touching their own mouth, nose and possibly their eyes. How does COVID-19 spread and what are the symptoms? COVID-19 is primarily spread through respiratory droplets, which means to become infected. People generally must be within 6 feet of someone who is contagious and come into contact with these droplets. It may be possible that a person can get COVID-19 by touching a surface or object that has the virus on it and then touching their own mouth, nose, or possibly their eyes. But this is not thought to be the main way the virus spreads. Symptoms of COVID-19 appear within 2 or 14 days after exposure and include fever, cough, and difficulty breathing. Another question is, how can I best protect myself? Practice the following. So there are different practice. If you practice such thing, then you prevent the spreading of COVID-19. Wash your hand often with soap and water for at least 15 to 20 seconds. If soap and water are not available, use a hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol. Avoid touching your eyes, nose and mouth with unwashed hand. Avoid close contact within 6 feet with people who are risk. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough and sneeze with a tissue, then throw the tissue in the trash. Standard household cleaners, wipes are effective in cleaning and disinfecting frequently touched objects and surfaces. Another important question. What are the symptoms? According to WHO, signs of infection include fever, cough, shortness or breath and breathing difficulties. In more severe cases, it can lead to pneumonia, multiple organ failure and even death. Current estimate of incubation period, the time between infection and onset of symptoms, range from 1 to 14 days. Most infected people show symptoms within 5 to 6 days. However, infected patient can be asymptomatic, meaning they do not display any symptoms despite having the virus in their system. So this is very important. The infection, this is the asymptomatic. It means they do not display any symptoms despite having the virus in their system. Stay home and prevent COVID-19. Thank you for watching.